trees are dropping leaves and we're removing big summer vegetable plants, so that makes fall the perfect time to create compost. The smaller the pieces, the faster your compost will make, so chop those tomato and okra plants into much smaller pieces so that they'll break down faster. You can mow over your leaves with a bagger on your mower to speed things up. I like to grow perennial ryegrass to collect all winter and mix with my leaves for a nitrogen boost for my compost piles. A bagging attachment makes it really quick work to do that. If you'll blend your kitchen scraps with water, you'll speed the decomposition and you can also deter pests in your compost. I use water from washing my vegetables, leftover coffee or tea, or even cooking water to add even more nutrients to the blender and mix it up. If you're having issues with raccoons, rats, or squirrels raiding your piles, bury your kitchen scraps really well, or use screening or use enclosed compost tumblers to keep those critters out. Now, dairy products, eggshells, grease, grains, meat, and fish scraps can make compost piles more enticing to rodents, so you may want to leave those out if you're having issues. Your compost pile may not heat sufficiently to kill the diseases or overwintering insects. Weeds that have gone to seed or incredibly invasive plants like nutgrass and Bermuda go into my garbage also. Our soil is quite alkaline, so wood ashes are not a good idea in our compost piles. They do suppress weed growth, so you can use them along fence lines or buildings to deter weedy growth. Charcoal ash can have toxic levels of sulfur and iron and is not safe to add to compost. Keep your pile evenly moist to keep the microbes happy and keep the pile decomposing. It will totally stop if it dries out too much. You may need to water your compost piles as often as you water your gardens. You don't want it dripping wet, but it should be like a damp sponge. Those white salts that you see in a dry compost pile are dead microbes. I like to use a 5-gallon bucket with tiny weep holes drilled in the bottom to drench the pile slowly, or spray layers of your compost pile as you turn it with a pitchfork if it's really dry. Now, piles that are too wet can have or have too much nitrogen material or just have poor air circulation may be smelly, so you can add high carbon materials like leaves, shredded brown cardboard, or newspaper that's shredded. Leave the shiny inserts that come with papers out, but most papers are printed with non-toxic ink and can be safely composted. Other items you can add are coffee grounds. They're a great nitrogen source and they can help deter rodents too. Throw in the filters as well. Leftover beer and wine and spices that are past their prime, paper towels and napkins that you've used for cleaning up around the house, toilet paper and paper towel rolls, paper egg cartons torn into pieces, cotton balls and cotton applicators with paper sticks can all be composted too. Now, you may see a lot of pill bugs and sow bugs, earwigs, and other critters in your compost pile. And they're assisting with decomposition, so it's not a problem. But if you transfer them to the garden in your compost, they will happily eat your tender seedlings and transplants. So spread your compost in a thin layer on a piece of plywood or a tarp for a few hours in bright sunlight to send them scurrying for better living quarters before adding that compost to your garden. For Backyard Basics, I'm Tricia Shari. Thanks for watching.